boy, did you feel that through the web?
Energy, baby. This wave came over me right there.
Before we get into hitting, and my dad is in the house, Jake N is in the house, Philly Eagle is here, double bicep salute, Judge Jr., Toy Cannon, you know I'm all about nicknames. Let's just go right there. And Knott's Berry Farm, hop over to Instagram Live so you can see Trevor Plouffe. What's your nickname, Trev?
And I'm one of those guys that doesn't have a cool nickname. Everyone just added the Y to my last name, Plouffe. That's basically what everyone calls me. Trevor Plouffe. You
So,
know, I didn't get blessed with something cool like Black Hawk or whatever. I don't know. Something like that. I was just a Y guy.
so Plouffe, when that kind of thing happens, I'll usually say, okay, let's go a little deeper. What is your favorite, other than baseball, favorite thing to do?
Wow, I love fishing.
Mm,
So it's been a while for me, I'll be honest with you. When you have couple small kids, it's tough to get out there. But
don't I know it?
yeah, I grew up doing like bass fishing. I grew up in a little town called Castaic Lake, very famous bass fishing lake. So I grew up doing that. And then just last summer, I went tuna fishing for the first time.
I like
And
it.
I'm a California guy. I should have done that a long time ago. But we went out all day. We caught one fish. But I'll tell you what, that one fish got me hooked. I cannot wait to go again later this summer.
Well, there you go. And this is coaching 101 for any coaches out there. It took 60 seconds for me to get your name and your favorite thing to do, and you put that story together, and now you will forever be known in my brain as One Fish. That is your nickname.
That's it. I
One
like
Fish,
that.
man.
I'll take
Um,
that.
that's great. Well, I see Cameron Monger, Warstick. We're going live tonight with some trivia. Maybe one of these days, me and you can do a little baseball trivia. We can team up and try to stump these kids. There's some talent. Some of these kids, the kid that won Tuesday, 12 years old, since he doesn't have a league or a team he can play with, he's been FaceTiming his grandpa, and they've been doing baseball trivia. And he won the whole kit kat and caboodle. It's awesome.
Again, getting the facts out there. If this was like an American history trivia night, I'd be able to help you a lot more. Baseball trivia, you know, I'm going to give myself like a B minus in that category. So,
Oh man, I'm telling you, I love it. Everybody who's checking in, welcome. Check in with your nickname and where you're from, if you could. Thank you for doing this, man. You got two kids. I'm loving what you're doing with John Boy Media. You're peeling back the curtain and giving us baseball nuts a chance to kind of get in this inside the brain of a Major League Baseball player. We're going to get to that, but I kind of wanted to start. I wanted to break up our hitting into two things and kind of two segments, and maybe you can add to this. But I think of hitting as the physical side, the mechanics, the stance, the hands, the mechanical side of hitting. But then an even larger part, the mental side, of how to go about it, how to overcome failure, how to approach each at bat. So I wanted to start with the physical stuff and kind of work our way up because we've got some younger guys, 6, 7, 8, and then we've got some teenagers. So kind of progress along. We've gotten your nickname. Before we get to the physical side, I just need one more. What did you have for breakfast?
I had leftover like protein pancakes that my wife made our kids.
That's the best.
I'm not a big breakfast guy. Like, give me a cup of black Joe, and I'll just sit and hang. And today there were a few leftover pancakes, Coach. So I just grabbed them.
Oh
I
man,
just grabbed them, stuffed them down.
no, I can just go coffee too, but I need a banana. I gotta go banana with the coffee. I can't go coffee on an empty stomach. You can, I mean, I'm high energy, high motor as it is. If I had no food and coffee, it it it's why I don't drink alcohol. My brain just can't do it.
I
Like,
love it.
give me a glass of milk and I am as good to go as anybody. So Cool. Well, let's get into some hitting. Sandlotters, I hope you got your notebooks. Kids, I hope you got your notebooks. This is 2 days in a row, two Major League Baseball players that are just feeding you information like it's pancakes. So Judge Jr., Knott's Berry Farm, Crime Frog, listen to Trevor One Fish Plouffe. Um, every hitter is different. Every stance is different. Every hand position is different. Every style is different. Across the board, from Little League all the way up to the big leagues. But for you, is there a couple of benchmarks, a couple foundational basic things that no matter your style, you as a professional hitter, you had to get to those places or specific thoughts?
Just really getting in here in this chat. I love it, Snell. Love it, buddy.
Oh, Snell is in the house. I love it.
But, you don't have to worry about me anymore, buddy. I always just encourage kids. Now that I have a 4-year-old son, I'm trying to help him with his baseball swing and whatnot. I encourage kids just to feel comfortable and then never feel rushed. And when I pitch to my son, sometimes I see him getting so anxious for the next pitch, and his shoulders flying one way, his legs are flying the other way. So I make him take a deep breath before every swing, and he hates it. He hates it, but it helps him. He resets, he takes a deep breath, and it just helps him kind of get on time. And if you're not on time, it doesn't matter if you have the perfect swing with the perfect plan and the perfect mental approach. If you're not on time, you're out.
Yep, it's true. No doubt about it. Is there any other kids out there and Sleepover is checked in? Come over to Instagram so you can see Trevor Plouffe. Any other kids out there, they just get that heartbeat going. They get a little anxious. They want to speed things up, especially in the game. I know I was that way as well. And I had my best years, my best at-bats when I just took the deep breath and kind of treated the game as if it was practice. No expectations. I have to hit this ball hard or not. If I took the outcome out of it and just relaxed and took that deep breath, good things happen. I'll add to that for me and step into my office. Just something that before every swing I took, before every batting practice, I had to make sure I was rooted in the ground with some good foundation. Like if I just start taking hacks, bang, and falling all over the place, I had a bad day. Like I was 0 for 5, but if I had a specific thought in my first 10 swings, it just locked me in. And for me, a lot of times it was foundation or just being balanced. Maybe talk on that, the importance of it. For a major league hitter, is balance a high thing on the totem pole?
I think once you are at that level of being a major league hitter, you really kind of have your core swing already ingrained in you. So you can make these adjustments, and you'll see guys do a lot of different things as they become more comfortable with their swing. So you got a guy that's standing straight up or a guy that has a big leg kick. He's able to do that because he's a big league hitter who's practiced and has his balance, and he's already been through all the steps to get to where he's at. So that allows guys at that level to be able to do things that maybe look a little unconventional or different. But when you're a younger kid, you really got to work on the basics, and having balance and stability in your setup is one of those basics. So I definitely think for kids, it's not a bad idea to spread out and do some no stride stuff. Just kind of work your hands, work your path that way. You can get down into some more preset stuff and do that, but you really have to ingrain those positions and those movements before you want to start worrying about what your launch angle is. If you're going to drive the ball in the gaps, I would just focus on, fundamentals, getting yourself right, squaring the ball up, whether it's hit hard on the ground or hit hard in the air. Let's square it up first, and then we can make those adjustments that I always tell people, those are advanced movements. And kids don't have to be doing advanced movements at a very young age. Let's let them get the basics, and then we can move on to the advanced movements.
It's that crawl before you walk thing. And I have a lot of kids that are like, I'm ready to take that big step. Look at Mike Trout. And I just say this, when you're on TV, you can take that step. But right now, you're not Mike Trout. You're not on TV. And at a younger age, let's say you're 8, 9, 10, water slide, I think you're 9, Knott's Berry Farm, you're 9. When we try to do anything big with our foot, 19 different things have to go perfectly right for you to be on time. And that's what Trevor One Fish Plouffe told us right out of the gates is be on time. He tells his 4-year-old son to take that deep breath because we want good timing. So spreading yourself out, like Chris Bryant, like Daniel Murphy, those guys do that to this day. Anthony Rizzo, when he gets 2 strikes, heel up, heel down, and every time you take a swing off a tee, soft toss, whatever, hold your balance finish for 2 seconds. Hold your finish, see if anybody can push you over. And then, yeah, you get into pro ball, you can start the advanced movements. But Trevor, you played 5 years of minor league baseball before you made it to the show. So that's when you can work those advanced skills into your game. Am I right?
I mean, I was still learning basics throughout the minor leagues because the competition gets so much better that things that I could do in high school, I couldn't do in the pro game because the pitching was better. And to be able to make these adjustments that I had to make, I kind of had to break myself back down to square one and start over. So, like if you're a really good baseball player in high school, you're going to be able to dominate that competition and you're going to be able to get away with a lot of things. But when you get into pro ball, that's kind of out the window. There's very few guys who just dominate in pro ball. You have to find your way and you have to make adjustments and fight for every inch in pro ball because everybody's really good there. So for me, it was like got into pro ball, had to make adjustments again and broke my swing down. And then I made adjustment after adjustment after adjustment. And sometimes you get frustrated with that process, but you got to have that process. And I would say that 95% of guys who play pro ball, if you go back and look at their first day in pro ball and what they look like in their 5th or 6th year in the big leagues, their swing is going to be completely different. Very few guys can go through and just have the same swing.
Yep. I'm so glad you're able to use all this knowledge now that you are done playing, but now you're working with John Boy on a show called Sequence. And on one of the episodes, you were talking to Mitch Garver about hands. And this is something I want to talk to the kids. I talk to my kids all the time about just hands and where they should go as far as to the baseball. You get a lot of this. You get a lot of reach backs. I think of it like this. You come out of the womb wanting to take a big step and reach back here, and you kind of have to train yourself out of that to go here. And the process you had in minor league ball, I had in college. I had an eye-opening moment when Justin Verlander struck me out on a blazing fastball and then a nasty curveball that made me dry heave. And the next day, as the ball's passing, I felt like, oh my gosh, I felt like I was going to puke. I went to the hitting coach. I said, we've got to retool everything. I feel like I've gotten to this point on pure athleticism, and now it's not getting me anywhere else. I've got to humble myself and learn how to actually swing the right way. And one of the first things we did after we kind of quieted my front foot and kept me nice and quiet was we really talked about my hands. I was a reach backer and a dead pull guy, and I could get away with that against slow pitching. Let me pose the question to you. If I'm a reach backer, if I'm a long swinger, and I'm getting away with it in Little League, maybe even middle school ball, what do I need to work on to tighten that thing up to make sure that I can catch up to the next level, like you said?
Well, I think what you're doing there, you're just showing yourself being disconnected. So you want your swing to be connected. When you're taking a big, whatever you do, if you do a leg lift, you call it a stride, whatever you do, and then you go too far back with your hands and those aren't in sync, you become disconnected. You want a little bit of that separation, which again is a very advanced move, but you eventually want that. For me, when I talk about hands, I think you got to keep them tight to your body. You create space not with your hands, but with your legs. So your hands should always be tight to your body. Right. And then guys have certain certain things that they do, like they'll throw the knob at the ball. Mitch Garber was talking about how he likes to keep the barrel really close to his head the entire time.
Kind of
So
like
it's
Mike Trout, yeah. I'd
yeah,
actually never heard that, but I mean, it makes a lot of sense if you want to stay right here to it. On that note, sometimes, and like you said, advanced versus basic skills, I'm trying to keep the kids' knob as much here as possible because at a young age, if I'm teaching them to do any kind of wrapping like this, they go here. So that's the difference between basic and advanced. But I got some 18-year-olds here who are ready for this move, this Mike Trout, this Mitch Garver barrel close to the head, and then move. Let's talk to that 16-year-old. When we're here, what are we firing with to get straight to that baseball? Is it this thing right here? Is it knob? Is it different for each hitter?
it's going to be a key for each guy. So, what really gets taught is when you coil up like that, you kind of want to get your weight back up and into your hip, like you have right there. And that's what's going to fire. Your hips are going to fire. But your hands are just kind of going to follow through with that. Now, when we're talking about advanced or basic moves, you can get that coil, but you have to stay connected. I think that's a good word for us in this drill, or in this what you're talking about here is connected. Stay connected. Let your hands come on that line. Stay linear, and just try to keep. I always tell people this is really simple too. Try to hit the inside part of the ball. And hit the inside part of the ball. You can still pull the ball. You just have to catch it out a little bit further out in front. But that's an easy concept for people to visualize. Hit the inside part of the ball. That's it.
Really good. I mean, you always hear stay inside the baseball, but I love those little nuggets that is kind of one step further, like that one right there. Try to hit the inside part of the baseball. Kids, get your questions ready as far as the physical, and go ahead and start firing them away.
For the kids, if you're doing simple drills, everyone's at home now. If you have a tee at home, it's very easy to focus on that part of the ball when you're hitting off the tee. And whether you're working on pulling the ball, hitting the ball dead center, or hitting the ball the opposite way, you need to hit that inside part of the ball. It's just a matter of where you're making contact. That's going to determine where the ball is going to come off your bat. So get specific with the little drills like that when you're at home.
That's great.
Really just mark the inside part.
Yeah, one of the specifics there, so maybe you paint the inside part of the ball, something that you're looking for. Some of you guys are in your garage right now, and you're watching this, and you're trying to do a drill. You're looking at that inside part of the ball. Now, this is something that helped me out a lot, and crazy enough, I didn't learn it until college, but I can move this tee, and I can work on an outside pitch, letting it get deeper. I can work on an inside pitch by meeting it more out in front. So on that note, you've got a net or you've got a wiffle ball that you can hit into your backyard off the tee. Move that tee around, work the inside pitch, inside part of the ball, let it travel a little bit more and hit the outside pitch if your tee is functioning. And work that pitch right there, letting it get deep, practicing going here. This was a big one for me because I was reach back, dead pull guy. I started facing really good pitching, and they saw that right away. They kind of keyed on my weaknesses, so it was hard stuff away, occasionally come up and in, but then soft stuff away as well. So for me, and I know a lot of kids out there that struggle with that outside pitch, I'll give you the floor. How do you hit that thing, man? How do you hit that outside pitch?
Core basic things you have to learn as you're coming up. Don't worry about pulling the ball. Pulling the ball will come. If you want to pull the ball, you have to learn how to hit the inside part of the ball. I'm going to name drop right here, Coach, if that's all right with you.
Please. Oh, dude, I'm a king of name drops, man.
So I got to play against Miguel Cabrera a lot early in my career. And this is Triple Crown Miguel Cabrera. This is a guy that, he's one of, if not the best right-handed hitters of our generation. So he'd always be like, hey, just so you know, if I ever hit the ball to you, it's on accident. And you would go watch this guy, and I made it a point. I would watch him every single batting practice when we were in Detroit. I would go out and watch him. All he would do is just flick balls into the right field stands. That's what he would do. And he would do that for the first 3-4 rounds. And then he would let some open up and he would eat, and they'd go out to center and left center. But all these good hitters, all these good hitters in the big leagues and everywhere throughout know how to hit the ball, the inside part of the ball, take away that outside pitch. That's the first thing they're going to do to you when you come to the big leagues or you progress in a level. They're just going to throw in the outside corner and say, "What do you do with this pitch?"
Yeah.
And if you can handle that pitch, then the chess match comes. What are they going to do after that? They're probably going to bust you inside, try to get you expand to get you off that pitch. But it all stems. You have to be able to take that pitch and drive it to right center field.
Yep.
And it's something you can work on, but people don't want to work on it because it's not as cool as pulling a homer into the left field stands. But to get to that point, when you're on Sports Center doing that, you got to have the basics of being able to take that outside pitch, drive it to right center.
That's good. I equate that to golf. It's really fun to hit the driver at the driving range, but it's not fun to practice putting. But the putting, that's your outside pitch. That what I tell kids, and even kids that are 11, 12 years old, and kids are pitching for the first time, they're not busting you in. They're throwing it away as well because they don't want to hit you. So 80% of the pitches you see are outside corner, even at 9, 10, 11 years old. So it's a pitch you got to figure out how to hit.
Yeah, you don't just have to fillet the ball over to right field either. I don't want anybody going up there just trying to touch the ball over to right field. Go ahead and drive that ball to right field. That's when you're really going to see where your swing is at. If you're taking aggressive swings and driving them to right center field, I bet you your swing is locked in. Mm-hmm. And that's something that, a lot of people are like, well, we want to hit the ball in the air. We want to hit the ball hard. I get that. Well, do it that way as well, because you have to be able to hit the ball that way.
Yeah.
So it's something that, like you said, it's not fun to work on it necessarily, but you have to.
Exactly. Another thing is we got some 11 and 12-year-olds. Something that really helped me out was one-handed swings. For me, the bottom hand really gets things started up along with my hip and gets me tight and on the right track. And then that top hand really Hank Aaron's that barrel, just fast. Mike Schmidt, fast barrel. Did you ever do any one-handed drills? And if so, how does that help?
Yeah, of course. I would do it just to, it's just kind of emphasizing a move. It's just one move in a sequence that needs to work together, but you're just emphasizing that. So there's different things you can do. I mean, guys will have a short bat. Guys will just choke up on a bat. I have a great drill where if you put some sort of playground ball, or it could be anything, a handball under your front elbow, see if I can do it, and then you take a one-handed swing, that ball should just drop straight down, and that'll kind of keep you on that path. You just want to stay on path.
Right. And on path meaning the barrel strike zone for as long as possible, right?
Yeah, you want it to enter the zone behind you, and you want to stay in the zone as long as you can have it. And that's going to be how you're able to drive all those pitches to right center, left center, and to center. And I talked to Mitch Garver about this on that video you referenced. He caught a pitch a little deeper than he wanted to, but because his bat was already in the zone and it was there, instead of that being a pop-up to the first baseman, it's a home run to center field.
Yep. Hitting is so hard if you're just keeping it simple, that if you try to make things difficult, there's no way you're going to be able to do the most important thing, which is quick to the zone and then long through the zone. I really love this, and I'm watching it on sequence. And follow Trevor on Twitter and Instagram, and you can see some great YouTube videos. He's interviewing guys like Mike Moustakas, great pros, and you're dialing in specific at-bats. And I love this idea of just keeping that barrel close to the head as you make your way towards the baseball, because what he said is when that barrel gets away from his head, he's beat 100% of the time. So I saw a question from AK. Do big leaguers change their swing depending on the dimensions of the field they play at? AK is a 17-year-old. Did you ever change your swing based on where you were playing?
I would say you can. When you're in New York, they got a short porch to right. When you're in Boston, obviously they have the monster. But I feel like sometimes that can work the opposite way you want it to work. Like if you're in Boston and you're just trying to go over the monster, if your swing isn't just dialed in, like that could get you into trouble.
Hmm.
So really, you just try not to think out the dimensions and try to hit the ball as hard as you can.
Yep.
That's basically what guys are trying to do. But I would be lying if I said guys don't try that. They do.
Yep.
You know, when you go to Boston, you see this monster, and you're like, all I have to do is hit a fly ball to left field, and I have a double, or
Yep.
possibly a home run. It gets in your head, and I think the pitchers in Boston, also know that, so they can play to that a little bit. But I would say for the most part, guys try not to do that. But every once in a while, you can play the elements. If you're in Chicago and the wind's blowing out, guess what? You're trying to put the ball in the air at all costs. So
Yeah.
you have to see it. But again, this is advanced stuff that if I'm a kid and I'm trying to get drafted, I'm trying to have my best swing as much as possible, not worry about the dimensions or the elements.
Yeah, for me, if I ever tried to hit it over the left field fence, it was at best a foul ball straight back. It was nothing. It wasn't. There was nothing that even came close to a fly ball towards left. So um, I want to kind of get into more of the mental side now because that kind of fuels most of the swing. And the word approach comes up a lot. And I know there's different approaches for different pitchers for different days. Sometimes you come out and you're just taking uh, ugly hacks in BP and you're just not feeling it. Some days you're on point. But when you were at your best, 22 bombs and whatever year that was, what did you have a consistent approach each day in, day out?
I think when I was the best hitter that I could be wasn't necessarily a year that I was hitting a ton of home runs. My best offensive year was probably 2014,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a spring training at bat that I was just like, I got to change something up. Like this, I wasn't feeling right, and I said today, all I'm gonna do is just try to see the ball as long as I could. Took that into the game, had a few base hits to right field, and I was like, wow, like that really felt good. Next day, I was kind of like on every pitch because I was letting it travel, and it was spring training, so I didn't really care about the results,
Yeah.
you know. But I like built up that feeling during spring training, so when I got to the season, I was feeling really good with that. I felt confident in that approach, and I felt like it was going to get me results, so I stuck with it. And I think that was the best I was as a hitter is I just convinced myself to see the ball longer than I thought I should, if that makes any sense. It was like, here's where I'm at usually, and like where I'm trying to see the ball until like just two more clicks, like let it come in just a little further. And when I did that, I mean, you see the ball just a little bit longer, you see the late movement better, you're able to lay off pitches, getting a better counts, it all kind of snowballs. And I think that for me, the best approach was see the ball as long as you can.
Yeah. I would agree. For me, when I was at my best, when I was thinking somewhere towards right center as a right-handed hitter, just as long as I think that area, that's going to make me wait. I think I was a little antsy. I was too antsy to just tell myself, wait 2 more clicks. But if I envisioned where I needed to try to hit the ball, or if that's the area I'm going for, that helped me let it get a little bit deeper. And it also just calmed me down. It took the pressure off. I don't have to turn on this thing. And a lot of times when that inside fastball did come, my eyes would light up and impulse would take off, or instinct would take over, and I would just turn on it automatically. But again, from Little League, even to pro ball, they're starting you out with that outside fastball, and they're going to see what you can do with it. So I also think it's important to kind of stay creative with your approach because pitchers, they see you're hot, they start to move with other pitches. So did you have to create other keys or other approaches along the way? Are you constantly just doing this?
Everything, you know, and I think there are times when, say, you're going hot and people are noticing, they're making adjustments. Then that's the time where you have to be really selective and get the pitch in the zone because they're going to try to get you to expand the zone.
Yeah.
When you're hot, they know if they give you a pitch to hit, you're going to hit it. So now the way they combat that is let's try to expand his zone. Let's get one up and in, and try to speed them up a little bit, maybe get them to flinch a little bit, then we'll go back away. So for when you're going good, you really have to start being selective. The only way to continue to be a good hitter is to continue to be in good counts. If you're continuously in bad counts, getting behind in the count, you're not going to be a good hitter.
Yeah.
The numbers say it more. I mean, you can look at the difference between an 0-2 count and a 1-1 count, or a 1-2 count and a 2-1 count. They're astronomically different. So you got
Yep.
to be really selective, and I think that's kind of the key. Is like, yeah, you got to make adjustments with your swing, but don't forget that you got to swing at strikes and pitches
Sure.
that you can drive.
The being selective. The Reese Hoskins last year had the most pitches per plate appearance, and it shows. I mean, he also has a great swing. I know you see him as one of the best just fundamental swings, but just taking that many pitches or seeing that many pitches, a lot of foul balls, that is so tough on a pitcher. If you can just hang in there, if you can grind, and maybe let's just dive in there a little bit more, because we have all kinds of different hitters. The importance of grinding out an at bat.
It's fun to grind out in a bat. Those are some of my favorite bats. If I was to go on my own show, I would put the at bats where like I grinded out a 12 pitch at bat and won.
Yep.
You know, it really hurts the pitcher when you're fouling some of his good pitches off, or you take a borderline pitch and he doesn't get the call, or you take a nasty slider and he's like, how did that guy not swing at that? You can
Yep.
physically see a pitcher getting sick that you didn't swing at it. So I love that.
Yeah.
But you know, it helps you, it helps the guy behind you, it helps the rest of your team. You're making guys throw pitches, you're wearing them out a little bit. If you start to foul pitches off, then he's not as confident in throwing that pitch. That's my wipeout slider, and he didn't swing at it. Well, now what?
Yeah.
I gotta throw it again and try to be even better with it. And when that happens, they make mistakes. So it's all about having that feel, being a ball player, not just being one dimensional. You have to be able to fight for some at bats. Other times you go up there and you know you're going to hit a home run.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to do all those different things.
It's good. Kiddos, this is your chance. If a guy who played in the majors for 9 years, was it? 9 years you played? Ask your questions to him. He will answer them. Bring them on down. AK, Sleepover, Knott's Berry Farm, Judge Jr., all my guys. While they're throwing ideas around for a question, I was kind of wondering about your favorite teammate ever. Did you have a guy that you would consider your favorite teammate? And if so, what makes him that great teammate?
A lot of good teammates, man. I don't know. I met a lot of really cool people in baseball. We saw Snellzilla was in the chat with us earlier, and he was a rookie when I was in Tampa, and now this guy's winning the Cy Young. But he was always grounded and had a plan. And like when I look back at my time with him, I'm like, this guy knew exactly what was going to happen with him, and he went and executed it. There's just so many different types of guys. If you want to go like funniest teammate, Mike Pelfrey, who like people probably don't associate him with being funny at all, but he's like one of the genuinely most funny guys I've ever been a part of or ever been around.
Those are my
But
favorite.
yeah, like just random guys. So, but most of these guys in my Twins days, I got to spend a lot of time, got to know them more. So the Mowers and the Morneaus and the Josh Willinghams. I think Willingham was probably my biggest mentor on the baseball field, and that's random because he came over just as a free agent. I'm there in Minnesota. He comes over, then all of a sudden I'm like, this guy is awesome, and he helped me, elongate my career. And just like randomly he signed with the Twins, and that's just kind of how it happens. You meet these guys, you're thrust into a relationship with them that you're with them for so much time. But that's like, when anyone retires from baseball, it's the first thing they say is I miss like the guys. It's true.
Sure. Oh yeah, they're your brothers for sure. We've got a Southern California boy, SK Nez, from Burbank. How was Crespi?
That guy. Love the Burb. Crespi was excellent. That's my high school I went to. It was an all boys Carmelite high school. Um, Not as strict as it sounds. We didn't have uniforms, at least for my first couple of years, but loved it. We had one of the best baseball coaches ever. Rest his soul, but loved my time there.
Outstanding. My man Sleepover, I think he's 11, maybe 12, asked if it's good to be a switch hitter. What do you think about that? Yeah,
Be a
absolutely.
switch hitter. If you can be a switch hitter, be a switch hitter. You look at all the platoon stats, the numbers are there, man. If I could face, I mean, if you look at how I was against a left-hander, I crushed lefties. If I could do that against righties, I'd still be playing, man. So yeah,
Yep,
if you can be a switch hitter, be a switch hitter, 100%.
that's right. Hollywood in the house. Let's go, CJ. Jake N., what drills can I do at home to improve my timing? I'll throw one at you, and then Trevor can go. For me, I've been doing this a lot just because I can't just sit around. I got to do something whenever the kids are asleep. I'll get a pile of sunflower seeds in my mouth, and I'll spit a shell out, and then I'll try to hit the shell before it hits the ground somewhere towards center field. That helps my hand-eye coordination, and it helps my bat path, but it really helps my timing out because the wind is messing with that sunflower seed shell, and so that would be mine. What about you? You got anything?
Tough at home. I don't know what kind of resources people have.
Yeah.
If we were like back in the swing of things, one of the best things you can do for your timing is to go stand in on like a really hard throwing machine and just take pitches.
Mm.
You're able to slow everything down that way. The ball's coming really fast. You know you're not swinging. So I would just go in against these iron mics and just crank them all the way up. And I would just take like 50, 60 pitches. I wouldn't even swing the bat. And then
I
you get into the games and you're like, okay, everything's slowed down. Like that velocity, I just train my eyes to perceive that velocity as normal, and here it comes. So I think that's something I would do if I was in season. If I was at home, I my favorite drill to do at home, I do it with my son now who's 4 years old, which is kind of ridiculous. I have wiffle ball golf balls,
Yep.
and
Oh,
I have a little skinny little bat thing, and I make him hit those. I make him hit the small balls with a small bat, and
yep.
sometimes he doesn't like it, but you got to be really precise with your movements, and in turn, your timing will be
It's
key.
good. That we called them Decker balls back in college. Those little tiny baseballs. Love those things, man. They really helped me out a lot. Let's go a couple more here before we let Trevor go to his kids. Um, yeah, Trevor, your
Mr.
favorite.
Aaron Tiny. That's an inside joke right there. Okay.
There's some inside jokes. I wanted to know maybe the toughest pitcher you ever faced, and then we'll go with your favorite third baseman ever.
Okay. These are pretty easy for me. Toughest pitcher, Max Scherzer. I think my worst statistics are against Matt Garza. But Scherzer, I'm like 1 for 17 with like a zillion Ks. So
But
I
here's
don't
the
feel
deal.
I don't feel too bad about that.
Here's the deal, kids. It is really difficult to go 1 for 17 against Max Scherzer. Like you're in the 1 percentile that got 17 at bats against Max Scherzer. you know?
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
unfortunately for me, the Tigers rotation, which we faced as like 6 series a year, was Scherzer, Verlander, David Price, Anibal Sanchez, Rick Porcello. I mean, I was getting the gauntlet thrown at me for a while. So I like when I look back, I'm like, okay, I understand.
You really did, man. Now, I know you played all the positions, but you wound up being primarily a third baseman. Did you have a favorite third baseman growing up?
I didn't really because I was a shortstop for most of my life. So like I was a huge Ozzie Smith guy. I loved watching Khalil Green was like my guy when I was in high
Yeah.
school.
Clemson? Yeah.
Clemson guy. So I love like the smooth shortstops, and I still do because I think it's the hardest position in baseball. So I loved all those guys. As far as third baseman, I mean, I felt like really when I made the transition, like like the start of this era of third basemen happened.
Yep.
So, we have Josh Donaldson, we have Nolan Arenado, we have Justin Turner, we have Matt Chapman, who took my job. Thanks a lot, Matt Chapman. No, I love him. But like in Anthony Rendon, I mean, the list can go on and on. Like we were really playing in like a golden era of third baseman. So I
True.
think the guys that I like to watch and emulate are the guys that are still playing now. There's so many good third basemen out there right now.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Toy Cannon, he won one of my trivia contests. What's your favorite ballpark to play in?
Um,
My favorite that I ever went to, I mean, I love Wrigley, but the PNC Park, that was just a great night for me. I really enjoyed PNC Park, Pittsburgh Pirates, but yeah, I'd say PNC or Wrigley for me. Although Fenway is really awesome too.
yeah, I think Fenway's my favorite. PNC's great, like beautiful, but just there's something about Fenway, like the monster, and yeah, I don't know. I got to play at Wrigley too late in my career, which was cool, but still wasn't the same. Like for me, when I walked into Fenway and just there was just something about it that made it special.
Yep,
Um,
that green wall has seen a lot of legends walk past. Yeah, you can really feel it. And I didn't. Did you get to play at old Yankee Stadium? No.
oh, so I think that the first year was 2009 of the new one, and
Yeah.
I had debuted in 2010. So
Yep. That would have been about the same kind of vibe, I would imagine. Hmm. Well,
something
Trevor,
messed up, Coach.
huh?
Want to hear something messed up before I go?
Yes. Tell me something messed up before you go.
Let's end it on a sour note.
Yeah, let's do it.
I played in every single ballpark in the big leagues except for one. Can you guess which one I didn't play in the big leagues?
And
You know,
this will probably be a trivia question tonight at our 7:30 trivia night. Man, okay. So let's do the
what I'll
math.
be mad about.
Played for the Twins. Played for he played in all the AL Centrals, Rays, so all the AL East, Phillies, all the NL East, A's, AL West. So that leaves NL Central and AL. No,
NL team, I'm going to
all
help
the
you
AL.
out.
So it's either NL Central or NL. What am I there? Am I right? NL West or NL Central?
hmm
What do you think, guys? Dodger Stadium? Come on.
The stadium I grew up going to, the team I grew up watching, the only stadium I didn't get to play in the big leagues at, and I'm very upset about it.
So
The baseball gods, they don't give you everything, right? They give it
they
and they
don't give
take
you
it
everything,
away.
but the All-Star game is going to be at Dodger Stadium, and you're going to be there as long as we're there, right?
I will be there, but I mean, I don't know,
Can we
Coach. I don't know if
find a
it's looking too
way
hot for
to?
the All-Star game.
Can we get you in that bat? Um, I'll try to work on that. I'll work like I can
I
really
got to
pull strings.
play. I got to play in high school there at our championship game. So I played on the field, but
Yep.
it's not the same as Vin Scully calling your name when you walk up to the plate. So
No, that's tough. That's tough. That is a sour, sour note to leave on. But
yeah,
folks, this is a metaphor for life. Baseball is full of failure. It is tough, and maybe we'll end on that. Like, uh, I, I was the captain of my college team, and I batted 240 one year. You've had your struggles as well. Give these kids a little something for when they're in a slump, man.
I'm gonna go back to something Mitch Garver just said on my show. One at bat can change your whole day.
I like that.
You gotta short memory, dude. If you let at bats linger, good or bad, it's not the way to play. Approach every single at bat as a new at bat. I know it's hard to do that. I didn't do that all the time.
Yeah,
But when
no,
you're clearly thinking and your head is clear, that's how you think. So try to remember that.
that's right.
Don't let your brain get in the way sometimes.
It's true because that 0 for 22 turns into a 1 for 23, a duck snort to right, and that just changes everything, man. Just that one at bat, like you said, that's really good. For all my guys, this is another epic Sandlot. Let's go round of applause and an attaboy for Trevor. What's his nickname? One Fish Plouffe. Attaboy on three. 1, 2, 3. Attaboy. Thanks for doing this, man. Spending 45 minutes with us. You're the man.
Appreciate it, Coach. Love what you're doing, man. Keep doing it.
Hey, fist bump. We'll do some more stuff soon, and do a little wiffle ball action with the kid now, brother.
Going right now.
There you go.
Can't wait.
All right.
All right.
Thanks
See you later,
everybody
Coach.
for tuning in. You the man. See you, buddy. 7 J's, sleepover.